in China, they take pollution standards to a new level. They take it really seriously, which is probably a good thing, given all we know about the damage to health from air quality. So it makes sense that China are basically scaring the pants off of the automakers there by giving them very little notice before bringing in the new rule, which would mean that manufacturers literally can't sell hundreds of thousands of vehicles currently made sitting in a field waiting to be sold. But this just changed, actually. Welcome to the channel. I'm Ben Alexander. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to see so many new subscribers to the channel. Last month, I think there was something like 600 new subscribers, something like that. Most of you aren't subscribed, but you keep coming back and watching new videos, so remember to subscribe. So you'll get notified every day when I make new videos. Now, the Chinese government did recently agree to delay implementation of this new 6B pollution standards rule, which was tightened up from another version of the rule which was called 6A. Which has meant that manufacturers now have some time to sell off hundreds of thousands, if not millions actually, and we really are talking if not millions. We're talking fields and fields of cars. It's quite well reported on at this point. I wanted to make sure that facts have kind of bubbled up to the surface, so to speak, before reporting on this. It matters to me what I put in my videos is accurate. This is one of the main goals, actually, of the Charge Show. If I don't think there is enough evidence or proof, then it won't make it onto the channel. This is now a price war as dealers rush to sell non-compliant stock before the new standards come into effect. So they're literally just selling them off cheap in China, literally, which is crazy for a couple of reasons. We'll get to that in a minute. I think, as the British used to say, it's better to make an halfpenny than to lose £5. I'm not sure if that's the saying, something like that. I saw that the other day on the TV when I was watching an old English TV show. I think it's from the 80s, called Only Fools and Horses. It's an amazing show. I used to watch that when I was a kid growing up. Sales of Japanese brands in China. This is also pretty crazy. Just dropped last year by 40%. This is literally because of the emission standards that are being brought in, but not entirely, of course, and because of the booming EV market over in China. EVs sales in China doubled last year to 25% of all new vehicles. So basically, a quarter, 1 in 4 of all new cars in China is a battery-powered electric vehicle. More than half of the world's EV sales are in China right now. It's a massive market that is quite hard to understand, and now China are making their own fantastic EVs, really fantastic EVs. So much so that 80% of the EVs we sold here in Australia last year were from China. So like the BYD vehicles, honestly, there are about 100 brands there, if not more. I haven't counted, but it's a huge number that people there can just go and buy. It's brilliant. And because they're making them there, they are quite a bit cheaper too. And because there is so much competition there, the prices are very, very competitive. Cars like the BYD Seagull, basically it's very close in size to a Honda Jazz or a Honda Fit if you're in America. So if you look at the vehicle's length and wheelbase, it's basically a Honda Jazz, and it's definitely bigger than a Kia Picanto. 300 kilometers of range with LFP blade batteries from BYD, for sale in China for less than 19,000 Australian dollars on the road, out the door. Fantastic value. That's great. You can pay a few extra $1,000 and get a bigger battery too. Even better. I think what people are realizing now, even in China, is that you can go out and buy a Chinese EV and it actually works really, really well. You can drive them thousands of kilometers and they just do the job of a car and they still work and they keep working and they do a really good job at it. So why would you want to go to a legacy auto brand such as Volkswagen or Toyota, when you can pay huge amounts less and get a car that feels just as good and does the same sort of thing. Why would you want to do that? So that's kind of what's going on here. That's why BYD has done so well, and all of the other Chinese EV brands. And that's kind of why in Australia, 80% of our EVs last year came from China. Thanks to anybody for joining on Patreon or on YouTube memberships, or anybody that has even thought about buying me coffee. Links to these will be in the description below. And as I've mentioned earlier, this allows me to keep on creating videos, which involves investing a tremendous amount of time in thorough research, and my goal is to provide you with accurate information that you may not find readily available in the mainstream media. The easiest way to help if you're a bit skint is just to press the like button, which shows YouTube that people like the video. And it makes a huge difference because I'm trying to do this as my day job. And when you like the video or comment or chip in, you're basically helping me spread the information out there to help boost the uptake of EVs, in particular the cheaper end of the market where we really need to get going. Europe is perhaps make or break for the Chinese EV manufacturers because basically all of Europe, with the exception of the UK and Ireland, is left-hand drive, and they aren't able to sell to the US because of Trump's import tariffs, which make it prohibitively expensive to sell there. Converting their vehicles to right-hand drive is very, very expensive. So for these manufacturers, Europe is basically the big goal. And if they don't crack it, their sales by the end of the year, I can see this being a very bad year for some companies. If they don't do well, they might even go bankrupt. I don't know exactly why people in Europe aren't buying Chinese EVs at all. They just aren't buying them. And the sales started off quite well for a few weeks in the UK, and then they just vanished. BYD, I'm mainly talking about here, the MG4 has actually been doing quite well there. But it also, people really are commenting saying that they really enjoy driving the MG4 in the UK. So if you enjoy the video, please click the like button so that YouTube know that people are enjoying it, and subscribe for more daily videos about electric vehicles.